It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet the assholes on the Dynasty tonight. That's right. It's time to put on makeup. It's time to dress up right. It's time to raise the curtain on the Dynasty tonight. Why do we always come here? I guess we'll never know. It's like some kind of torture to have to watch the show. And now let's get things started. Why don't you get things started? It's time to get things started on the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, sexuational. This is what we call the Dynasty Podcast.
Welcome to the Dynasty Podcast Mock Draft Special. I'm Commissioner Eric Costanza, and with me for another year, Bubba Palucha.
Hello.
So we're here. It's finally here. We're really close to getting...
I'm excited.
Yeah, getting started with another season.
I don't sound it, but I'm excited.
Well, I think you made me aware of a reason why you may not be when you arrived here at Riverdale Quarters earlier today. You started your actual job.
Oh, yes.
You're a
true.
teacher.
Yes.
At your real job.
I actually have to go to work.
You actually have to go to work.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I had to wake up at 6:45 today.
Rough times for Bub. Do you think does that impact or affect your fantasy, drafting or coaching at all? Like, what if the summer consisted of the fantasy season? Would that help or hurt you?
I don't think it really has much effect. I do a lot of my strategy and research during the summer because I have some downtime. But
either way, you wouldn't have a title either way.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
I would just come in second again.
Got it. So let's just take a step back. We'll talk about the podcast for a moment. So it's been announced in I think the Gazette and whatnot that we're going to go ahead and scale back a little bit. Less is more in some at some times, and we think that might be the case here with the podcast. I appreciate everyone voting on your opinion in the league ballot on this. So we're obviously going to have this show here, which is one of our favorites, the mock draft special. Next week we'll be having another special, the draft analysis show. In which, again, Bub will be here with me. Bub enjoys the special editions. I actually do as well. Those are our favorites. So that said, Bub's going to be taking part in those shows, which also includes our playoff edition special as well. And then we're also going to have, and that's also the off-season special, which happens in February, whatever the hell it is. And then in between that, during the actual season, we're probably going to have maybe 2 to 3 shows.
Perfect.
Maybe, week 5-ish, week 8-ish, and week 12-ish, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
More than likely, we'll have, special co-hosts with me. So if you are interested in co-hosting with me, whether it be in person or over the phone, it's up to you. We can do that. A few have actually already reached out to me, so I really only have 1 or 2 openings at this point. So I just wanted to let everyone know up front how this is all going to work this year. As far as the podcast is concerned, we're heading into a new season. All of this has been kind of discussed. I do like to just touch base on, quick highlight things that are new for this season, so that we're all, some people may have forgotten or not been paying attention.
Sure.
So we obviously have a new coach this year.
Yes.
Craig Bedesian.
With a B.
What's his middle name?
I think it begins with a J?
Okay. It's pretty common.
James,
yep.
Nah, it doesn't sound right.
We'll have to ask.
Well, Jeffrey. It's Jeffrey. It is Jeffrey, 100%.
Is it spelt like Alshon Jeffrey?
Is that different than a normal Jeffrey? I mean, he is black, so maybe.
I'm not sure, actually. How is isn't Jeffrey spelt a little different?
No, Jeffrey looks normal. Jeffrey.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to call it right now. Briscoe, which by the way, his nickname is Briscoe. We've talked about this. I'm going to say that he's going to draft Alshon Jeffrey just because of this conversation that his middle name. Although that's pending if his middle name is Jeffrey. We got to confirm that.
I know for a fact.
You know for a fact it is.
His father's name is Jeff.
Jeff or Jeffrey?
Probably Jeffrey.
Yeah, but he goes by Jeff. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to talk to him later in the show, so we can confirm all of these things.
Briscoe or his father Jeff?
You know what? Fuck Briscoe. Let's get his father Jeff on the line. No, we'll see. We'll see what works out. All right. So we're changing, obviously, the way that the keepers are announced. I've gotten a few questions from a few coaches, so thank you for that. What would you say, Bub, was the highlight of the season kickoffs show that we did? If you had one highlight,
I think my highlight's gonna be different than yours.
That's fine.
If you didn't know it was coming, seeing quote unquote Heaney's interview, and then obviously it was Zach.
Really?
If you didn't know. And if you didn't know it was coming, and then immediately you saw quote unquote Ben's interview, exactly the same. Like I laughed when I watched it like 3 days later. Like I thought that was pretty funny, and I actually had a couple coaches telling me that they laughed out loud at that as well. So I'm glad it I'm glad it was intended to be funny. So right. I'm glad. And Ben, I hope there's no hard feelings or anything like that.
Now, can you take us behind the scenes? I have to admit, I don't know, because for the first time ever, actually delegated, believe it or not, to Bob to basically just handle the division. So what happened?
I had texted all three of them, and Ben said, "Well, I'm going. I think he went to Maine for a week. I'm not going to be around until the next Saturday. Maybe we can do it that night." Heaney said he wasn't really around it, so it was kind of a jumbled mess of when we were gonna be able to get all these interviews, and so
just said, "Fuck it."
I was with Zach one night, and I said, "Well, we can do our interviews," and he goes, "Dude, let's just do theirs too." And so we kind of just ran with it.
Yeah, very good. All right. Obviously we went to 3 divisions. We don't have to talk about that again. But Bub, if you were to, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Sure.
First putting you on the spot of the season.
Boom.
If you had to predict right now who the 3 teams are that are going to be coming last in the 3 divisions, who would you say?
Ben.
Okay. In the Central, yeah.
Well, this is going to be a tough one. It's a toss-up. I think Brian.
Okay.
Not Whiffen. Brian.
Brian will come in last, okay.
And that other division, who's that? Briscoe, Brandon, Phil, and
Will.
And Will?
Yeah.
Oh, Will. Easy.
Will? Yeah. Okay. All right. We shall see. Appreciate your candidness, Bub. We're now 4 or 5 years into this, and we used to kind of be all timid, like, oh, we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
I mean, the thing is, but look at their teams though. Will has no picks, and he's keeping Cam Newton. I think. I mean, that's bananas in itself.
Before you move on, I want to talk about that for a moment because I recently spoke with Will, and he is in it to win it this year. He says.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
He said, "Well,
he's keeping Cam Newton, so that's a lie."
In his defense, he's done it before. A couple of years ago, he had basically the same amount of no picks, and he either made the playoffs or he almost did. No shot. All right. Well,
no chance.
But I interrupted. What were you saying?
I just looking at those teams like Brian and Whiffen have already said that they're playing for D13. Ben, just look at the same thing. So I mean, I don't think it's too harsh
rocket science.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. Fumble recoveries again are touchdowns this year, and going forward, and then we're taking away the power rankings, and we moved over to.
I bet that fumble recovery fucks me this year.
Yeah.
I bet I lose because
it was your idea.
I guarantee it.
Yeah. And moving the power rankings over to what's it called? The Geyer.
The Geyer Renalysis.
Geyer Weekly Renalysis. Yeah. All right. Cool. So those are all the new things going on, and on this show we had a jam-packed show, so we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna do one of the funnest things that we enjoy doing throughout the season. And that's Bub and I bringing to you our opinions and our thoughts on mock drafting, which is going to be a little bit different this year because of the whole keeper thing. We'll get into that. We're gonna bring you an interactive segment. We're actually gonna go ahead and play my one-on-one in-person interview with starting Chicago Bears tight end Zach Miller.
Oh,
yes, I had the opportunity to interview the gentleman while I was bringing hot-hitting analysis as a media member of the Riverdale Gazette at the Patriots training camp during one of the joint practices. And we'll talk more about Zach Miller, but I flat out asked him about fantasy, and he actually is one of the only that I actually got some feedback from a fantasy standpoint from Zach. So we'll also as I mentioned, we're gonna introduce and talk to the newest member of the league, hopefully the last rookie ever of the Dynasty, though I doubt it, but that would be nice, Briscoe. And We will have a little odds maker segment
Yep.
as well. But first, it's the start of a new season, so we like to kind of hit the refresh button and look at each franchise to see where they're at in their Dynasty career. So let's have ourselves a little franchise analysis, bitches.
Yo. It's the Dynasty franchise analysis. We're sitting here talking about you and me, the team, yeah. We got winning percentage and we got wins and losses and games played, oh yeah. Average points per game, yeah. Oh no, what you want though is the Dynasty champion. Fantasy football experience. An all-star fantasy football experience. Dynasty franchise analysis, yeah.
Okay, so let's start. What division you want to start with, Bob? You pick.
South? Is that a
South.
division?
That is a division. Let's start with the South. Maybe you can bring up, if you wouldn't mind,
sure.
bringing up like the all-time stats in the spreadsheet
okay.
to kind of guide us here. But let's touch on each team quickly. Start with Pig Newton's.
Okay.
Where is he as a franchise? What are your feelings about him in general?
Phil's been a solid member of the Dynasty since its inception.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie, by the way.
Agreed.
Since so that's what this is 13 years
ago. Only him and I now are the only coaches that have been in this league since the very, very beginning.
So I know he was pretty good at the beginning. He had a little bit of a downslide in like D6 through 8-ish type of thing. Mm-hmm. He seems to have found his way back up though.
But still no title. Well, since he won it back in D2.
I was gonna say he does it. Yeah. So
and the league was a much different place.
That almost doesn't count.
Are you gonna sign a petition to strip him of that
D2 championship? No. Okay. But in my head, there's an asterisk.
Ooh.
That's all.
Okay.
So he's a good manager, Phil. I like you.
Let's go to Brutal Deluxe. Coach Brandon McDowell. Where is he from a So, of the half the league has won a championship. Half the league has not. Right. Now, obviously, we got Derek and Briscoe, who are either new or almost new. So it's kind of unfair to kind of lump them into that. But it is what it is, right? So Brandon's one of those teams that has not won, right?
Yeah, he's the complete opposite of Phil.
Ooh,
just horrible.
Wow.
And, I mean, just look what he did the last 2 years. That's all you need to know about Brandon. Next.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Will. I'll go with Will to Will. Rockdalian Senators. He's been in the league since D2, so almost for the duration.
Will sneaky surprises me.
Yeah, you mentioned last year that you kind of changed your thoughts on him.
For the last few years, really. I mean, he kind of like sits around like 7-9, 8-8, always kind of flirting in the playoffs, kind of not. Which
7-8, 8-7, technically, yes.
Which I isn't a great thing, but I think that's better than I kind of thought originally in my head. So Will, good job, I guess, for being average. But
where is Will all time? What he's fifth?
He's fifth with a winning percentage of slightly percentage points over 500.
Yeah. So how many teams are over the 500 marker all time?
5 total, and he's one of them.
He's the
503.
Fifth. Yeah. Okay. Briscoe. We can't really talk much about him. He's a new guy. All right, moving on. Let's go to the Central.
Okay.
Let's say you. We'll talk about you, right?
Yeah.
So we mentioned this earlier. You can't help but say this, and I'm sure I went through this for a while. No longer, Bub, but with this, the monkey's on your back. You're one of the half the teams that hasn't won a championship. But you got to respect the fact that where are you third? You're basically third in everything.
Yeah.
Other than championships.
Yeah.
You obviously know what you're doing. You're a good coach. You're a good member of the league, obviously.
Elusive championship.
But you just haven't got there. Yeah, well, you've gotten there. You just haven't won it. So until that happens, it's hard to say anything else.
I agree.
Handy Quacks.
He's been pretty bad. Well, actually, a couple years ago, me and you were stacked. He had a pretty good team too. Kind of just unlucky there.
Yep.
But other than that, he's kind of been
He had his first few years in the league. He won a championship.
Yeah.
I think his second year, and
And
then
he had Aaron Rodgers that year.
Yeah, and then since then he's been pretty bad. And he even had that year where he was like the favorite, and he didn't even really compete.
Well, he
so.
drafted Jones-Drew and traded for Foster, who got hurt.
Yeah.
And his whole team crumbled and sucked.
So he's dropped.
Been a big disappointment, I would say.
Yeah.
Although he has a championship and I don't.
True. Let's VIP on this whole Chris Heaney. I think you can almost say the same thing about him, right?
I think let's just copy and paste what we said.
Yeah.
Because it's like literally the same thing.
Okay.
Both have one championship. Both have been like kind of good, and then really bad lately.
Yep. Boston Lagers, Ben Green. Finally
kind of got the monkey off his back last year by actually having a good season. And
more than a good season. He
had
had a great regular season. One of the best ever.
Yeah.
And then...
just faltered in the playoffs.
Yeah, but at least he got there. At least he experienced what it's like to do that.
He had some injuries too,
right?
So it's kind of unfortunate, but
is he up there? He's fourth,
is.
Right? He's fourth all time, so he snuck his way up there. Good for him.
Yep.
All right, so now over to the north. You want to start with me?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say the only thing you're not first in is championships.
Right.
You're tied in games played with Phil. You're actually tied for first in ties.
Oh, there's that.
With 2. You and Phil both have 2. So, yeah.
Ties which don't exist anymore.
No,
right?
no more. So, yeah, I mean, hey, and you finally have that championship a couple years ago, so hats off to you.
Yep, thank you. Let's see. Matty Whitfin, Hong Kong Cavaliers, obviously, has got the most amount of championships. He's come a long way from those 5 and 10 years, that, what was it, 3-4 in a row, or where he,
that was fun.
Not doing well.
That was fun.
You enjoyed that, but he's now right in the, it's a churn and burn, right?
Yep.
Compete one year, rebuild the next.
He has a great beard.
He has a solid beard.
Yep.
Yes. And he's doing his thing in this league, right?
I also enjoyed him on the
season kickoff show.
Yeah, I did. I thought he just had these little quirks about him. Mm-hmm. I like you, Matt, more than a friend.
Mr. Brian Tavolieri, Soul Glow. That says it all. Yeah, he's got the championship, similar to Chris and Zach.
Yep.
Came into the league. I think it's again second year, won his championship. Although the difference I think with Brian and Chris and Zach is that Brian's actually been consistently good.
He hasn't
consistently
been terrible. Medium. Him and Will fight for. They're the Jeff Fisher All-Stars of this league.
Good call.
They try to go 500 every year. 500 every year.
You watching Hard Knocks?
No.
Not a fan, or you
have
HBO?
I don't have HBO. I don't think I really watch it anyway. To be honest, I don't have I know it's the summer. I don't have a lot of time to watch watch shows.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately.
Gotcha. If you want to borrow my HBO, go. Sign in and just ask.
Oh yeah, maybe we'll talk. We'll talk after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, the season hasn't started, so we're on good terms.
Okay.
Until the season starts, and then we hate each other.
Okay.
Is that it, or are we forgetting anyone?
No, there's one more. New guy.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, or used to be new guy. Now.
We still call him new guy.
Okay. Derek Mello, Yo Soy Fiesta. I mean, again, hard to really analyze his franchise at this point, but had a good year, and
he's 5 and 10.
6 and 9 or 5, whatever it was. Yeah.
5 and 10.
So I think this year we'll see. I mean, it's only his second year, but we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll join those many teams that have won the championship in the second year, and so we'll see what happens.
You're up in the air, new guy.
Up in the air. Okay. By the way, underrated Kevin Bacon film. Up in the air.
Oh, I've heard of it. I have no idea what you. If you told me to say what it's about, I would have no clue. Couldn't even guess.
Well, let me tell you.
He goes skydiving with a grizzly bear.
He actually, I think he's a recruiter for I want to say the NBA or college or something. And he goes to some land of
in the land of China
island somewhere, and he finds this huge guy, and it's not bad. Check it out if you got some time. Check it out.
Quick trivia question.
Sure.
Just made me think of it. Manute Bol, are you aware of Manute Bol?
I am aware of him.
Former 7'7", center in the NBA.
Yes.
Has a son. Do you know what his son's name is?
I don't.
Bol. Bol.
of fun. This is our time here to shine. I know we've been doing this the last few years. I want to say 3 years ago we almost nailed it.
Yeah, we were like 5 out of 12 or 7 out of 12. Or
2 years ago we
hit like
sucked.
We hit like 1.
And then last year, I want to say we actually did okay.
I don't remember whatsoever.
I'm pretty sure we did okay. I say this every year. It's a snowball effect, right? If one thing, which is bound to happen, goes awry or is wrong, then then everything gets thrown off. So, but I think it's the spirit of what we're doing too, right? If we pretty much get these players like one pick off, then we kind of did pretty good.
Agreed.
So let's do it. So again, it's going to be different this year because of the whole keeper situation, right? So obviously before we all knew who our keepers were at this point. Now we all think we know. We can pretty much guess everyone or almost everyone's keeper, but we don't know for sure. And so how do you want to do this? But do you want to like go through the keeper round first, or do you want to, as we go through the second round,
we can kind of just go through it as we go.
All right, let's do that then. So obviously we're going to go through the keeper round. And then starting with pick number 13 in round 2 is me, and I actually have the first 2 picks. So, but obviously I'm not. I was going
to let you have it.
You're going to let me take it away.
The first 2 picks. I mean, you can say it. It's not like the end of the world.
As I'm sure anyone, you're not gonna give anything away for competitive purposes here. So I'm going to let you go ahead and take it from here.
Well, I'm assuming you're going to keep Bell. I know he's out for 3 games, but I think if anyone can afford to have him, you can. And so I'm going to think that you're going to take, in these 2 picks, A.J. Green and Lamar Miller.
In that order?
I don't think that matters.
Whatever you do, if that's what it is, I will do the opposite.
That's not fair.
You're right. You know what? I want to get these right, so I would actually do the right.
Right. Those 2 picks.
All right, so we'll say A.J. Green for the first pick.
Sure. And
then for the second pick, we'll say Lamar Miller. Now, do you want to explain to the people the noise they just heard?
Yeah, that's just your standard bell. Your standard bell. That's all it was. Much like a teacher would have. It's not mine though. It's actually yours.
Yes, and this bell, technically, it's mine now.
It just signifies a pick. That's all.
And this bell is actually the same bell from the draft, right?
Yeah.
Once we hit round 10,
the 2-minute clock,
the Iron Man rule, whatever the fuck it's called.
I think it was guard, wasn't it? Or was it the Iron Man?
No, it was the Iron Man.
All right. The Ryan Longwell rule?
That's what Ryan Longwell rule, when it took him, 7 minutes to pick his fucking kicker. We get 2 minutes to select your picks from the 10th round on. If it hits 2 minutes, Bub tracks it. You hear the bell. If you're next, you can continue. We all know the rule. Yep. If you don't know it, then look it up or ask me. Anyway, okay. So next pick is pick number 15, VIP on Swole. Let's touch upon this for a moment.
Sure.
The elephant in the room.
Okay.
Chris Heaney.
Yeah.
Not going to be at the draft.
No.
Going to be in China.
Yes.
What time is it in China when we draft?
Ooh, it's the next day, I believe.
So he's
like 14 hours or something.
So Chris Heaney is actually drafting on September 5th.
Correct.
We are all drafting on September 4th.
I believe so. I believe that's true. Yes. Unless it's actually he ends up being really early in the day. I don't know how that works.
No,
I know they're ahead, but at some point it's too far ahead.
At some point it's going to hit midnight.
It's too far ahead, right?
In China, right.
So
and then does he get shut off at midnight? We all have to draft on the same day. This is just blowing my mind right now.
Well, he's a day ahead, so he's already going to know who we all drafted because we draft on Sunday and it'll be Monday.
He'll be more privy to injuries and what's going on.
We got to fix that.
Something's got to happen. Anyway, talk to me about his proxy. Do you know this individual?
Yes.
Timothy?
Yes.
Tim Buma?
Tim Buma.
I don't think I know him. I reached out to him, said hello, and welcomed him. He seems like a nice gentleman.
He's a Northbridge grad, class of 2005.
Where does it... Give me a sector of town that's important to me.
He now lives...
I don't care about where he lives now. I want to know where he grew up.
It's funny you say that because his parents had a house, and I think he grew up right on Sutton Road.
Okay, Sutton Road, which is where I live off of.
Straight,
Depending on the area of Sutton Street, we can get into the Rockdale territory.
No, so you go up towards the old Five Corners.
It's not old. Oh yeah,
well, it's now not Five Corners anymore.
You're right.
So you go up that way, and then I think it's Alana.
Yeah.
There's the left.
Yeah.
There's right in the
That's
corner.
a good area.
Right on the corner of Alana and Sun.
I'm good with it.
But they don't live there anymore. He actually lives over on Shawn Drive, which is off of Benson.
So he's got some real ties.
Yeah.
You should have started with that, actually.
I
know. My bad. Okay, so anyway, he's going to be there to draft, I guess, for Chris. I guess they're going to be on FaceTime or something.
Sure, I would imagine so.
All right, so I'm sure it's going to be a fucking fiasco.
I'll be honest with you. We did a
test.
We did a test for a fake league that we have. It's not really a league. And we had our friend from Jacksonville Skyping in, and it
worked
perfect. And it was an auction league.
Oh.
It wasn't even just a standard
technology nowadays.
So it worked perfect.
We'll see. I don't have that good of a relationship with NASA, which obviously controls the world. So we'll see how that affects the rest of the league. Anyway, back to mock drafting, shall we? So pick number 15, Chris Heaney, VIP on Swole. I was actually a little surprised in the offseason when he traded for Des Bryant. And the reason for that is because he has Andrew Luck. And I kind of thought he was going to keep him. But Luck is... Well, let's talk about that, too. I know we're going off on tangents, but this is all fucking important. I might be giving away something here, but I think we're all competitive enough at this point where I think we all know this, right? Or maybe not one person. I don't know. Quarterbacks are deep as shit.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks are as deep as Brie Olson's asshole.
Ooh.
Quarterbacks are really deep. So, I mean... Would you be surprised if quarterback went even in the second round or even in the third round? I mean,
I could see one quarterback.
Okay.
In this round,
you could.
I could, yeah.
I'd actually be surprised considering where you can get a lot of other quarterbacks.
I agree.
But... Okay, so maybe we'll get to that then. Anyway, so he traded for Des Bryant. You got to assume he's keeping him.
Yeah.
Tony Romo's a little binged up now. I don't know how that's going to affect him.
He's not upset about it.
He's not. So you got some information.
Well, I asked him about Romo and the whole Des situation. He says that Dak Prescott's better anyway, so he's not worried about it.
I'm not sure I agree with that statement, but I agree that Des Bryant will be fine. So he's going to keep. We think Des Bryant.
As far as who he's picking, he has been very secretive with me and with Zach about this.
He was a dickhead. Sorry, Chris. I like you, but you were a dickhead last year because I didn't have anything else to do last year with the whole draft thing. I didn't fucking draft until the 10th round, so I tried scooping around and stuff like Scoop McGee, trying to figure out who everyone's. I reached out to people, and I reached out to him, and he I don't even remember who, but he alluded to certain people. I think it was maybe Gronk or whatever, and then he threw me off his trace and his sense and his track, and then he ended up going with someone else, and it pissed me off because it fucked up our whole mock draft. That was important to me last year. This year I don't give a shit. So anyway, let's see. So Lamar Miller's off the board.
Yep.
And AJ Green is off the board just from a drafting standpoint. And then I guess Le'Veon Bell, you're thinking I'm keeping him. So
I think he has to go running back.
Do we know of any type of keeper trades going on? I know that
I know all of them.
You do know all of them?
Yeah.
I don't know all of them, but I think I know what players.
Well, I know at least two.
Okay. So.
And I don't know if Brian is planning on trading Hopkins.
I don't know what's going on.
I thought that was weird.
We have spent a lot of time on this.
At the time, Lamar Miller wasn't as highly touted as he is currently, but I still thought that was weird. Unless he has a plan already, which I don't know.
I think we should find. Maybe Brian will let us know on draft day what his strategy is and what his thoughts were. Maybe we'll see. I mean, you got to imagine that he's higher on DeAndre Hopkins than he is Lamar Miller,
which is fair. It's a fair point.
Sure, and he thinks that he can get more from DeAndre than
Agreed.
Lamar.
That's what I just.
But we'll see if that works.
I thought it was strange because he had Miller sitting there. He didn't have to waste a pick, but
even though it was a later pick, it's still a pick.
Still a ninth pick. Yeah.
All right, so we're still here with Chris.
I think he has to go running back.
Well, Adrian Peterson. Who's the other one? And Gurley are the possible guys that we think may be kept and dealt.
Will be.
Do we? But I don't know exactly who they all are going to.
Yeah, you do.
I don't. I actually really don't. I really don't know who. I think Chris might be one of them.
You might get Cam Newton from Will, right?
How'd you know? So that may factor into things here, but Who do you think?
I mean, I'm just looking at
going?
I guess
We got,
I would
for
have to
running
go
backs, we got Jamal Charles.
I would have to go Jamal Charles. Just looking at the
Doug Martin, Zeke Elliott, Devontae Freeman, Eddie Lacy.
Nah,
Then
I still think Charles.
At receiver, we got Jordy, Jeffrey, Robinson, Cooks, Cooper, Evans. No,
I would still say Charles.
You say Jamal over him?
I think he's.
You have a better feel of Chris, I think, than I do. So.
He really hasn't given. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But I still think he has to go running back.
Okay.
I would go Charles.
All right. You seem pretty good about that. So let's go.
As good as you can be with doing a mock draft. I don't know.
So Jamal Charles. All right. Next pick. I promise we won't spend as much time on each pick here.
I would like you to make these next three because it's Zach, myself, and then Zach again.
Yeah,
and I do know a little more inside information on him. So.
Fair enough. Pick number 16, Handy Quack, Zach Palucha. We got to assume he's keeping Julio Jones.
Made the trade.
I think that he is one of the. Is he between you, him, and Chris getting some of these keeper players in a draft day trade? He may be getting one of them. I don't know. So that may factor in. But I can only go off of what I know. So I'm going to say, let's see. Don't think he's going to go quarterback. Again, we'll get Doug Martin, Zeke Elliott, Freeman, Lacy, Jordy, Robinson, Jeffrey. I don't feel good about this. I don't feel good about it. I think it's probably between Ezekiel Elliott and I want to say Jordy and Allen Robinson. So, let's go Allen Robinson.
You know what? Hold on.
Yeah.
Before you do that, going back to Heaney's pick.
Oh. Okay.
And now you have Zach taking Allen Robinson.
Okay.
That's my fault. I fudged up.
Now we'll go to you, Bub. You are, I assume, keeping Odell Beckham.
I'm thinking about it. I don't know yet.
This is the pick that you obtained from Brian, I believe.
Yes.
Do you recall how?
Yeah, from Matt Forte.
Oh wait, well Forte wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't great.
Yeah.
And then I traded Andrew Luck for a third. I traded Doug Martin for Doug Martin. Actually, that was probably the best one. Ben got Doug Martin for a 4th round pick.
Good job by you.
Yeah.
How's it feel to
swindle them,
rape people? Yeah, it's good stuff. All right.
Please tell me who, because
you don't know yourself, right? I think it's between Doug Martin, Ezekiel Elliott, and Jordy Nelson. And I'm going to say you're going to go with Ezekiel Elliott, Bub. I think you're going to team him up with Odell. Now, what does that bell signify? Does that mean you agree?
That's just a pick.
It's just the
pick.
pick. The mock pick has been made.
The pick is in.
Okay. Next pick, pick 18. Again, Handy Quacks, his second round pick. Again, we're assuming he's keeping Julio, and we also have him drafting Allen Robinson. He obtained this pick from you, Bub.
Yes.
And that was for
Matt Forte.
Ugh. Matt Forte, second round pickage here. So we have him having, again, without knowing if he's making a trade to obtain a keeper player, but Julio, so two receivers, two top-of-the-line receivers, Julio and Allen Robinson. So I get a lean towards running back here, and I get a lean towards, we got Doug Martin, Devontae Freeman, Eddie Lacy, I guess LaShawn McCoy. I mean, obviously this may go to preference. This isn't divulging any rankings on my end, but who do I think? I don't think Zach has a history with any of these players, at least from the Dynasty that I can recall. Let's go with Doug Martin. We'll go with Doug Martin. The pick is in. Okay, so now pick number 19. Yoy Soy Fiesta, Derek Mello. We got him. He pretty much said it, and it wasn't really rocket science to figure it out. No. He's going to be keeping David Johnson.
Correct.
Although I left him out. He also may be a sneaky team here that may have traded for a keeper player. I don't know.
You never know with new guy.
Yeah.
Just
you never know.
Such a sneaky in the shadows kind of guy.
Is he?
Nah, he's not. But you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I took the last three, Bub. Do you have a feeling on this
I
one?
would think he's going to go
Jordy?
receiver. Yeah, I mean, it's Jordy.
Jordy, Jeffrey, Cooks, Cooper, Evans, Watkins, Demarius, Brandel, T.Y., Keenan.
Are you forgetting that guy?
Am I? Who am I forgetting?
No, there he is.
Who?
Brandon Marshall. I didn't hear you say him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think Jordy.
Jordy?
Seems to be the...
He hasn't practiced yet. That kind of... Right? Has he?
I think he just came back.
He hasn't played yet.
Yeah, right.
and I don't think that he's planning on playing. But so that could be questionable.
I'm good with it though. I'm good with it. Give me the bell. Okay. Pick number 20, the Willie DeYoung, in it to win it this year. That South Division is somewhat open, so I mean you can't blame a man for trying, right?
I can see him trading this pick.
I could see him trading this pick.
So if that happens, all bets are off.
Exactly. But if he is in it to win it, he may not want to trade for this pick. I mean, if he's not getting probably, a second rounder next year, then it may not be worth his while. So let's go into the assumption he keeps it, though, with the asterisk that he very well may trade it. The Scoopage has determined that he's really looking to keep Cammy Newton. So, MVP last year, and number 1 or number 2 ranked quarterback going in this year, depending on your thoughts, feelings, and opinions. So, what are you thinking here with Will? Obviously, he's got his quarterback.
He does have some history with one of these guys.
Eddie Lacy,
yeah,
Fatso.
He does.
Fat man.
Yep.
I'm gonna say right now, no way he's touching him. No way.
He burned him in the He burned him, so he doesn't.
Is Eddie Lacy the biggest bust in fantasy football history? Because he wasn't hurt.
Monty Ball.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah. Didn't he kind of get dinged up a little bit?
Well, he's Monty Ball, though. I mean,
but Monty Ball sucked, and then he got hurt. So it's not like he got hurt. But at least he got hurt. Eddie Lacy played every game last year and just
he was pretty
sucked all year. So anyway, I do not see him going Eddie Lacy for those aforementioned reasons. We got Devontae Freeman still on the board.
Yeah.
We got LaShawn McCoy. We got all these receivers. Jeffrey, although we kind of said earlier that Briscoe's taking Jeffrey, and Will has a history of Jay Cutler. I don't think he'll touch anything with Jay Cutler.
I think Will could throw a curveball at us and take Rodgers.
He's got Cam Newton.
I know. No one knows Will. He's a sneaky guy.
Living in the shadows. With Derek? But no, we gotta go receiver.
All right.
And I think it's between Cooks, Cooper, and Evans. So you got a feeling here? I'm thinking Evans.
My first instance was Cooper, but I don't have a super big preference.
Let's go Evans.
Okay.
Next pick is pick number 21. Chris's second round pick. We got him keeping Dez. We got him picking Jamal Charles. He obtained this pick from Boston Loggers. I don't remember how.
Let's see.
Was it
from Boston Loggers?
Yeah.
Peterson did he have Peterson?
Yep.
I think
That might have been it. Yep. Good memory, Bob. And that wasn't even a math equation. I'm impressed.
Thanks.
So let's see. So okay, we got him having Dez and Jamal, and then I don't know if he's traded for anyone. So Devontae Freeman's still there. He's still there. Eddie Lacy's still there. Doesn't he have a thing with Eddie Lacy?
He had Lacy, I believe. Then he traded him. I think.
We traded for him a couple years ago, maybe. Yeah, Lacy.
Didn't he trade him to Will for a 3rd round pick?
Ah, yeah.
When he sucked, and then Lacy went nuts the rest of the year. It was 2 years ago. Lacy went nuts.
So maybe he'll want to have Lacy because he never really got to experience the good in Eddie Lacy. Is there any good in Eddie Lacy? We don't know. We're gonna find out.
He said he might cut his dreads because he doesn't want to get pulled down by them anymore.
I don't understand why that doesn't happen more
often. That's the first time I've ever heard a person with dreads, a black guy, say that. So maybe he's actually smarter than we think, than we're giving him credit for.
So does Chris enjoy having intellectual men upon his roster?
He likes men, so yeah, I could see that.
Eddie Lacy it is. Yeah. With the bell. We broke that one down nicely, Bob. The next pick is pick number 22, Phil Tamulus.
Is Zeke Elliott still there?
No.
No,
we had him going to you, actually. Yeah.
Who's the next rookie running back?
That would probably be...
No one close.
I don't remember.
I already know. Brandon Cooks.
He likes the fast individuals.
Yeah.
He
the
does
black guys.
Man. And he had him on his team last year.
And he was good last year.
He was good. He wasn't great. He was good.
Yeah.
He was borderline great.
He had close to 1,200 and he had 9 touchdowns, and he really kicked it up the second half.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I can see that, absolutely. I could see him trade. I know Phil is he likes to trade down as well.
So wheeling and dealing type of guy?
So that's another possibility with an asterisk here, but I'm totally good with Cooks. Let's do it. Cooks it is. And pick number 23, we got ourselves Badishkin Briscoe. We assume he's keeping Gronk. I don't know, if you happen to be on Twitter the day that Gronk got hurt. There was some sort of new reporter who was the first to break it on Twitter. Beat Jeff Howe, beat Mike Reese,
I didn't see that.
Tommy Curran, everybody got beaten by this guy. I don't know who he is. Some dude from the Riverdale Gazette. Anyway, he is, he's keeping Gronk. We got to imagine.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that Freeman's fallen into this.
Freeman, I would say, Freeman. Yeah. All right, I'm good with Freeman.
Team him up with Gronk.
Yeah.
Get the number 1 running back from last year.
All right.
Hit the bell.
I was waiting for you to stop talking, and then I was going to.
All right, and the last pick in the second round. Pick number 24. Yoisoy Fiesta, Derek Mello. Second round pick. Got him keeping David Johnson. Got him selecting Jordy Nelson. He obtained this pick when he actually traded Davante Freeman last year, which was his consolation pick in the 10th round last year for being the new guy.
Interesting.
So this pick is literally because he was the new guy.
Good job, new guy.
You mentioned that you thought a quarterback was going in this round. We still have Reeves and Rodgers and Wilson and Luck.
New guy wouldn't do that.
Okay, so then, according to our mock, we
Brandon
still
Marshall.
have... I'm sorry, come again?
Brandon Marshall.
You're just going to throw that out there. No
Yep.
discussion, nothing.
Nope.
Jeffrey's still there. Oh, shit, we said Briscoe was taking Jeffrey.
Too
Fuck
late.
it. No.
Too late. Too late.
We gotta go back
Nope.
to that.
Nope. Put an asterisk. It's a tough word to say, by the way.
Wait a minute. It would be better. Correct. It would be better if
We have
Briscoe
him take
took
Jeffrey,
Jeffrey
and then he takes
took
Devonta.
Freeman.
All right.
Do it an opposite of the bell noise to cancel out the previous bell. Good. So now we have, cross that out, we have, in pick 23, we have Briscoe taking Jeffrey. Hit the bell. And then in pick number 20, this is science right here, science.
Yeah.
In pick number 24, we have Derek taking Devonta Freeman. So let's run down the second round of the draft. Scoopers, AJ Green. Scoopers, Lamar Miller. VIP, Jamal Charles. Handyquacks, Allen Robinson. Bub, Ezekiel Elliott. Handyquacks, Dougie Martin. Yoisoy, Jordy Nelson. Senators, Mike Evans. VIP, Eddie Lacy. Pick Newton's, Brandon Cooks. Valvinus, Alshon Jeffrey. Yoisoy, Devonta Freeman. Anything that stands out to you, Bub, now that we've gone over this? Anything look to you to be wrong, right? You think we're going to nail it? Do you think
I don't think we're going to nail it.
We're going to get literally none correct.
We could be wrong from the very get-go, so... I have little faith. I have little faith this year. I'll say 1. 1 out of 12 will get right.
Do you have more faith in us getting more than 1 correct, or more faith in Zach Miller being a top 10 tight end in fantasy this year?
Oh, man.
You know what? Don't answer that question. Let's see what Zach Miller has to say about that.
Now, the Dynasty Podcast brings you an interactive and likely ridiculous segment, what's borderline on actual legit media. Buckle up your fucking seatbelts for the Dynasty Podcast interactive segment.
Zach, how you doing? Eric, the Dynasty. For the fantasy football community out there, I know it's ever growing, and Jay's actually said that he kind of dabbles into it a little bit. Do you have anything to say regarding fantasy football in general? Is it something you do or you know anything about?
I've played fantasy football a couple years.
Yep.
It's fun. I mean, but you got to be on it. It's
Sure.
not some one thing. You don't want to be in a league and then I got other stuff to do, and
Sure.
then guys are getting mad at you.
Yeah.
Hey, let me get this player. You got him on your bench this week.
Right. You gotta stay on it, right?
Yep.
Obviously, you have probably legions of fans out there from a fantasy football standpoint. You know, maybe outside of Chicago that know your name and know you a little bit more than they would. Any message that you want to give maybe to some random person maybe out in Massachusetts that maybe has you on your fantasy team is pulling for you this year?
Hey, if you got good value out of me, you're a great general manager. You're starting your career well. and we're going to have a good, solid year because I'm going to put some points in.
All right, I like it. Thanks,
Appreciate
Zach.
it, man.
Nice to meet you.
That was this week's Dynasty Podcast Interactive Segment. Now it is time. Fucking right, it's time. So grab your balls and let's go. Coaches interview. Here we fucking go.
So, Bub, there it is. This is the definitive Zach Miller interview.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Not bad, right?
Yeah.
He played fantasy, or he has, at least in the past.
I don't like him as a top 10, though.
That's a stretch,
Yeah.
but I think he could be a sneaky top 12.
Maybe.
You know?
I'm picking
do you think he'll get drafted? Do you think he'll get drafted in the Dynasty draft? I say,
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to say he will, like in the later rounds.
Okay.
Well, didn't Will have him last year?
That proves my point.
Damn it. All right. Well, moving forward here, we actually have the new coach of Valvinus, Coach Craig Bedizian. Bedizian. Why do I say Bedizian?
With a B. It's with a B.
Bedizian.
Hello, boys.
There he is. Briscoe is how we refer to him
Yes.
as. Briscoe, how are you this evening? Welcome, and let's just start off right away. Can you tell us the background behind your team name being Valvinus?
Well, I mean, Val Venus is he's an icon. He's every teenage boy who's hitting puberty's dream. He's he walks in. He's got ladies draped all over him, and I don't know about the fun part in wrestling other guys, but I mean, he's just a ladies' man, and he walks down, and then that's just all it is, really. I don't really have anything else.
Briscoe, you know who else had ladies draped all over them?
Who?
The Godfather.
He did.
And he wasn't very attractive. He actually used to play
wasn't.
Papa Shango.
But he probably had to pay those women, and where Val, they just flocked to him.
That's true. That's a good point.
There is a great YouTube video. If you see him going after Ken Shamrock's sister, it's fantastic. It's hilarious, actually.
So I've been keeping quiet, but I can't anymore. A lot of you may or may not know this. I used to be a huge wrestling fan and an amateur wrestler. And I actually literally played Valvinus in our amateur wrestling videos. And I wore tight purple shorts. You know, I came out with the white towel in the entrance and did the hip shimmy and the. All right, trivia question for you, Briscoe. And if you do not get this correct, I may force you to change your team name.
Always right.
What is the name of Valvinus's finishing maneuver?
The Venus flytrap, right?
Oh, wait, that's correct.
That is incorrect. The correct answer is he would go off the top rope and basically do like a frog splash, which is many people's finisher, but he called it the money shot.
There's no way he didn't have a Venus flytrap.
We may have to bring this to the ethical board of committees to see whether or not you're able to continue with the Valvinus team name. But anywho, Briscoe, well, we kind of did this in the season kickoff show, but welcome to the league. I guess what I want to know is, what have you heard specifically regarding the draft? What are your expectations going in? Not necessarily like drafting players and being from a competitive standpoint, but like some of the tomfoolery and shenanigans. Have you heard about any of that? And what are you expecting going in?
Well, first and foremost, there better be a veggie plate.
Well, unless Zach brings it as like his dessert or whatever, I'm pretty sure there may not be one. So you may want to bring one, because that's not happening.
Second of all, I mean, what I've heard is just basically there's 700,000 rules. If you get one wrong, you get nerfed, and I'm expecting to get nerfed a little bit. I mean, that's pretty much the main rule. Pizza, hang out all day, drinks you throw up. That's pretty much how the draft's going to go, I think.
Now, do you plan on bringing a Nerf gun at all? Or are you going to kind of, not
I
do
don't
that as a
know.
rookie.
What's everyone brings a Nerf gun?
You can. Not everyone does. Some people bring dodgeballs.
Yep.
Zach did that last year.
I know a guy who has a great semi-automatic Nerf gun that I think I'm going to bring.
Wait a minute, Craig. Did you just say you know a guy?
Here we go.
I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy.
I thought,
He has a Nerf gun.
Bub, I thought you were about to go the whole name dropping of Ren Geyer.
No, I wasn't even doing that.
All right.
No.
Question, Bub. First.
Craig. So obviously, being a new coach, you're missing a couple picks.
I think a fifth and a sixth.
It's not very often that a new coach comes in and really does well. I mean, the new guy last year was 5-10. What are your give me realistic? Don't tell me you're going to win the championship. Give me your realistic expectations for your team this year.
Well, how many make the playoffs? 4 or 6?
4.
What a garbage rule. But anyways, so if there were 6, my expectations would be to make the playoffs. But either way, I still think that I can squeak in. Generally, if I'm down a draft pick or 2, I like to think that I draft pretty well, and I'm usually pretty competitive in leagues. And I think that I'll probably draft the best of my abilities, see where I am at the halfway point. I'm thinking I'm going to be in that fifth spot-ish at that point. And then if I am, I'll go for it. If I'm not, then I'll trade my picks and build up for next year.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm going to go in the middle of the pack, and then once you get in, anything can happen, right?
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
Absolutely, yeah. We've certainly seen anything that can happen. And, I mean, obviously you're now congratulations. You've graduated into the, a real fantasy football league, the Dynasty, the best fantasy football league this side of the Mississippi, and an all-star fantasy football league experience. So obviously, with that being said, of course we're not going to have 6 teams, half the league make the playoffs. How freaking ridiculous is that? This isn't freaking happy hour. Anywho, Briscoe, one of the things that swayed me into selecting you into this league, I had a few options, was your overall general feelings regarding a commissioner and regarding how to deal with people that are like Bub and I that kind of run the league and things like that. I enjoyed hearing your answer on that. Do you want to tell the people how you feel about that?
Well,
situation?
I mean, number one rule, the way I look at it is you have to respect the commissioner. And I know that some individuals in the league may have their big bad gang and they go against the commissioner. But the thing about me is I don't disagree with just about anybody. And it doesn't have to be you. It doesn't have. I don't really care who it is. I don't care if you're the commissioner. I don't care if you're. I mean, he's always wrong, so he doesn't really count. But I mean, I don't care if you're like Zach, Bob. I'll disagree with anybody in the league, and I just feel like that's the only fair way to do it. And I'm going to voice my opinion one way or another.
Now, I like that. So basically, you're disagreeing with everybody. I like it. Are you going to come to Are you going to come to the draft in a jersey, shirtless, or in a what are those tank top thing called?
Singlet?
A string tank top thing.
Like a string bikini?
Yeah. Or a string bikini?
A purple Speedo. I can't come in a purple Speedo.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Yes.
With a towel, yeah. If you do that, you automatically, vault up ahead of new guy on the favorites list.
I should probably get my draft picks back if I do that too.
Maybe.
All right, Briscoe. Well, thank you very much for joining us here on the Dynasty podcast. By the way, this was the Coaches Interactive Hotline podcast, Bub, just so you know.
Yes.
Briscoe, we will see you at the draft. Thank you for taking the time here, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, Craig.
See you guys later.
Years of sports gambling experience has led these two geniuses to become the Dynasty odds makers.
Okay, so we like to talk a little bit about the odds of everything. We got the draft coming up, the season. Typically, we have. So first of all, I've joined Zach and Chris as an official odds maker this for this season. I got a little bit more time on my hands, not doing as many podcasts and things like that. So, Chris and Zach, I'm sure, will still be mainly bringing the videos on
Yep.
Sundays.
Yeah, we
but
plan on that. Yeah.
you know, I'll help out when I can, such as now. So we reached out to both Chris and Zach, and I guess I reached out to myself. Can I do that? And we asked us all some similar questions, odds and percentages regarding mainly the draft coming up. And Bub, I think you were able to compile the results.
I did. It took
people.
Trust me, I spent hours upon hours of compiling these results, just data crunching, number crunching. I had 18 different spreadsheets at one point up all at the same time using my computer, Corinne's computer, and actually 3 computers from school.
Wow.
So yeah, it took a while. I actually finished compiling them just actually before I got here.
Oh.
So it took me a total of about 30 seconds to compile all of them. So yeah. It wasn't. It was okay. Let's just get into it. I'm getting a little flustered here. All right. First question. Predicted number of keepers traded on draft day.
And we talked about that a little bit earlier.
Yep. Yeah. And you three were pretty much spot on. We had an average of 2.117, which is really just means 2, 2, and 2.5.
Sure.
Someone threw a 2.5 out. Wasn't quite sure. Maybe about.
Sure.
Sure. I'll say this. I also, unless
you're not an odds maker, Bub.
Can I just throw?
You can give your opinion,
Yeah.
but no, it's not
That's
part
what I
of
meant.
the members of the odds
Quick
makers
opinion.
here.
Quick opinion. No one's trading for Cam Newton. So that barely leaves DeAndre Hopkins. So if Brian has something up his sleeve, could be a sneaky 3, but I would say 2.
Okay.
Guaranteed 2.
Okay.
Number 2. Who will receive the first nerfing?
Ooh, always a fun one.
Um,
and it happens. Most years, it's at least the 5th round before we, because the top guys you'd think we'd all know. We all know where to draft your slot.
Yeah.
We all know the spelling of the Antonio Browns of the world, right? So, but this doesn't always happen. Last year it happened in the fucking 2nd round, Phil. So, continue.
So Phil did get a vote, but Brandon received 2, and I could definitely jump on that bandwagon.
So the favorite is Brandon.
It kind of depends on how many
Phil's up
beers
there.
he has, but
Sure.
But I would still I would agree with Brandon.
But it wasn't. Now Brandon was the favorite to get nerfed in the Gazette, and now it looks like he's also the favorite to be the first.
Makes
to get
sense.
Nerfed, so
I
that
think it makes sense.
Sure. Math.
Number 3, the percentage that Buma, who is Chris Heaney's drafter, shows. We had a 99%, an 85%, and a 100%.
Those are good. I like the sounds of that.
I would throw a 99.9.
What's the 0.1?
Well, what happens if there's an earthquake and his house collapses? And he can't show up like that. I'll give him.
I get
I'll give him pass.
No,
for that.
that's why I give a percentage in the Gazette of people with chances of showing up to the midseason hangout. Nobody gets 100%.
Yep.
What if the fucking sun explodes? It's going to happen.
We're dead if that happens.
Someday it's going to happen.
Hopefully we're not around. Number 4. Chance or percentage that someone misspells a Devonta or Devonte or Devonti or any of those variations of those names.
Neil? And you looked at me like I'm your mom. Like, when I say Neil, you're
You don't call me Neil.
Yeah, I don't. Only if it's a serious thing, and that's what's happening right now.
Okay.
There are 4 different spellings
Yeah, but you know
of
what?
the first name of Devonte or Devonta.
Unless you're Jeff Guard, you bring sheets with names on them to the draft. So
Okay.
I think.
So you're actually downplaying it.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's going to be a thing.
Absolutely.
Although it may not now be a thing because we're making it a thing.
I'm definitely downplaying it.
Okay.
But we were all, when I say we, the odds makers were all over the map on this one. We had a 50%, so all right, throw it out there, a 99%, and a 16.876%. So, all over the place.
Now, what did that average, Bob?
That averaged about 41.
Okay. So a little less than a coin flip's chance.
It's less than 41, I lied.
Well, that's not appreciated by anyone.
Let's see, that's 100, that's 15, that's 115, that's,
It doesn't matter.
37.
Moving on.
Okay, and the best jersey.
Always a good one. Always a sexy one.
We actually received 3 different votes.
I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. Can I guess who the three are? Obviously, I know who I voted for.
Sure, you won't guess the three.
Okay, I won't. Okay, so it must be a joke vote.
Well, and I kind of joked, but yeah, okay, go ahead.
Sure. I think I voted for Derek.
You did.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to say Will got one.
No.
Really?
No.
Chris must have got one.
No.
Well,
Chris
and
isn't
Will
going to be at
just...
the draft.
Oh shit! I didn't factor that in.
Idiots.
Yeah, you're
so
right.
Derek, you voted for Derek. New guy also got a vote.
Wait, so Frisco?
No.
Oh,
Derek.
Okay.
But it was written in as new guy. So,
what if? Okay, I just thought of something. I'm sorry, I have to say this. What if Derek came? We know what the controversy was, in that last year with the new guy, right? With the apple canning situation.
Yeah, sure.
Imagine if he came to the draft with like a custom apple canning jersey that said like #apple canning on the back. Had
number one canner.
Yeah, number one can. Like it was like red and maroon and stuff. That'd be awesome.
That would be pretty fun.
Sorry. Anyway.
Or imagine if you showed up with a Sean Taylor jersey.
That was.
Because
that's already happened.
Because Jay Young also got a vote.
Yeah.
I think that the Sean Taylor jersey was so good.
Yeah.
That it just kind of the idea of it
lives
has
on.
been carried over. Yeah.
Lives on.
So yeah, those are the quick little odds makers for you.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
We'll see what comes to fruition.
We interrupt this broadcast to remind you that you can get all of the latest Dynasty updates by following the Riverdale Gazette on Twitter. The Riverdale Gazette Twitter page. Don't be left behind.
Okay, so this is coming to the end of the show. Obviously, we went a little long. This is a special edition, so it is what it is. We appreciate you guys, listening to this far. We got 2 new draft day rules, real quick. The Will Tamulus rule, which basically you don't draft in the wrong draft slot.
Silly.
Ding dong. And the Brandon McDowell, Josh Brown rule. Whoever you write down on the board is who you are selecting, regardless of who you may have meant to write down on the board. Isn't Josh Brown suspended?
For a game, yes.
What did he do?
Beat his wife.
That's not true.
Yeah. It's.
No, it wasn't. It was performance enhancing.
No. It was like domestic. It was definitely domestic.
He's a friend of the podcast.
No,
we talked to him last year.
And so they're making a big deal out of it because, Peterson and Ray Rice got suspended for, the whole season, and he has this domestic dispute. The problem is his wife's not willing to testify against him. But she did originally go to the police and say that she was hit by him over 20 times on 20 different occasions. Was hit by him.
Did he kick footballs at her?
Probably not.
You want to know why it's not that big of a deal, Bob?
Because he's Josh Brown.
Yeah, which means he's a
kicker.
He's a kicker. So
agreed.
He's a kicker.
He's useless.
So, yeah. Well, now I'm going to get people saying we should drop kickers out of the league.
I couldn't agree more.
I'm not 100% against that.
Ooh.
But I'm like 95. So it's going to take a while.
Right,
it's going to take some
time.
time.
This is.
You're saying I got a chance.
You're telling me there's a chance.
I got nothing left. Do you have any questions about the draft? 3 o'clock. We all know, we know how this all works. Assuming it doesn't rain, we'll all come back to my place. Hopefully, we'll have a grand old time. Any questions, Bob? Anything at all you would like to say?
Do you have any extra newspaper? I think I might need some.
I don't. If you plan on paper macheing your vehicle at the draft, I'm sure there may or may not be somebody there doing that. Certainly was one year.
Might be my favorite moment of all time.
I think it's probably the best moment of all the draft moments. Yes. At least that happened outside of the actual.
I'm so happy that I saw it first.
Anyway, so thanks to everyone for listening. We'll be back next week with our draft analysis special edition. We'll break down the draft. We'll talk about winners and losers and reaches and good picks and everything. We'll see everyone, well, besides Chris, I guess, at the draft on Sunday. Well, for Chris it'll be Monday. Signing off, this is Eric Costanza, and good day to you all.
Thank you for listening to the Dynasty Podcast. To hear more podcasts in your ear holes, subscribe to the show on YouTube. Or don't. The choice is yours.